Good. Talk to you later. Leon out.
That's right. It's my favorite segment, What's It Like? And this is Resident Evil 4, or 4 Resident Evil, and you got Stryker of Enyo with you today. Well, I mean, I'm not there with you. I'm in the computer. I'm not in the computer. I'm just don't claw at your computer screen either, trying to dig me out. Please, if there's somebody else smarter in the room than you, have them explain it to you, because I don't want to be damaging people's PCs and having their fingernails rip off trying to pry me out of their goddamn computer. So this is Stryker of Enyo, speaking to you. There, is that better? About Resident Evil 4. You might be wondering, well, this is the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 version. What's the big difference? Well, the big difference is the right analog stick now can be used as an aim. So that's actually pretty huge. This is the first time on a console that the right analog stick has been used to actually aim your gun. We haven't been able to do it before. That's right, GameCube, PlayStation 2, and even Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 have all used the control scheme where when you hold down the left trigger, or depending on the console, of course, well, no, it's left trigger no matter what for the most part, right? Holding down left trigger enables gun aim mode, whatever you want to call it, and then the left analog stick would also move that. So it's been like that since launch. It's never changed until now. You actually can still play the original way if you want to, but the default mode is that now that when you hold down the left trigger, now the right analog stick can be used to aim, and you can still invert that aim if you wish as well. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing. On 360, we were all kind of wondering why they didn't give it to us, or PlayStation 3. You might be wondering, well, what else is the difference? Well, the textures are a little bit better. They're virtually identical to the PC release of the game in 2014. Also the Steam version as well. And that's about it. I mean, seriously, that's what happens when the original series creators, leave a franchise, like with Final Fantasy and Shinji Mikami and Kenji Inafune. The series that they leave behind doesn't get any added stuff to it because the companies don't have the expertise to do it. Because the companies ended up losing that expertise of people being able to go in and alter files. So yeah, the boulder rolling down the hill, it's still kind of sped up twice as fast. It's always been like that, every version. Except there was one version where it even goes faster, I believe. Like on PC, I think if you cranked it up to 60 hertz, you'd actually get kind of a glitch there. And then it would be actually moving twice as fast as that, where it would be nearly impossible to control. But that may or may not have... I can't believe I ran into that. Or that. But yeah, so it's virtually identical to the versions that you've already seen. Some of the textures on... I mean, if this is your first time playing, I mean, going from the 360 version and the PlayStation 3 version to this, I mean, it's a pretty big difference. I mean, you can actually read the labels on the ammunition. Like, look at all that. That all that information was completely, blurred before. I know before on the 360 and PlayStation 3, they were often calling that Resident Evil 4 HD. I think even if you go back to like the trailers, that's kind of what Capcom was even calling it. I mean, technically it was, the HD version of it, but in the game itself, or on the Xbox Live Arcade name, it was still just called Resident Evil 4, and it was even done in lowercase letters. And with this version, it's still just called Resident Evil 4. There's nothing different to the title screen or anything. And this really isn't a remaster, but if you look at it, coming from a console version only that you've probably have played on PlayStation 2 and GameCube, the textures really do have a lot more detail. Leon's coat definitely has, a lot better texture than it ever has, and the contrast has been messed around with a little bit as well. but it actually brings a much deeper and richer color to everything. Leon's jacket was mostly kind of just a brown wash before, but now it actually has a much richer color to it. And, it's a little bit darker too, but it's not like they just turned up the darkness. But you got to admit, if you look at versions of PlayStation 3 or playthroughs on PlayStation 3 and the 360 version of Resident Evil 4 HD, the colors are kind of whitewashed out. I mean, you're going to see it looks like everybody just turned up the brightness on the game. So they definitely fiddled with, some of these balances and whatnot. But again, this is virtually identical to the PC port. There are a few instances where the Xbox One version and the PlayStation 4 version actually have a version of a higher texture that the PC version didn't get. Like when you go in the house here and that one guy, gestures like I think he even says like the trap has been sprung. You'll see on his suspenders that he has like a red line that goes down the middle of the suspenders, and he actually has a t-shirt. You can see a couple of buttons on the PC version, but especially like on the Xbox One version, you can actually see the line for his shirt go down, and you can definitely see the color on those red suspenders. Am I going to die in this one? I can't remember. Well, either way, but that doesn't matter. And so there actually is a few instances where there's a bit more detail in this release on consoles than on PC. But I mean, yeah, all the wood grain, everything that they should have done for the 360 and PlayStation 3 version, they're finally doing now. Apparently the powers of PC have compelled them to, finally give us this version, even though PC didn't get to play this until 2014, like I said. But yeah, otherwise we're looking at the same game, and unfortunately that means in order to unlock professional mode, the hardest difficulty, and to get to the costumes and a lot of the other extras, you need to beat the game first. And obviously, in order to unlock some of the other costumes, you need to beat some of the 2 DLC or Ada's assignment, at least, or separate ways. You get them both. You get everything that's been included with every version of this game so far. That's the guy right there. That's the scene. That's where you can actually see the line on his jacket. I mean, on his shirt. Much more clearer on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version. And if you look at the PC version, I mean, it's not because you just can't see it, because the PC version, is running at better resolution even. But so yeah, for some reason, some textures have a little bit better or higher quality texture than on PC. But so yeah, it's not really technically a remaster. I mean, I guess some people's idea of a remaster is, using medium or high PC settings and porting them over to a console. But I mean, well, the next generation of console than what a game originally showed up on. But that's just really kind of lame. I mean, and PC owners, I mean, what do you call a remaster for them if they got to play on originally higher resolutions from the beginning? So I always thought of a remaster as like the GameCube remaster of the original, Resident Evil, where they completely redid everything, new game engine and everything, but it still has the look and feel of, or the movement and feel at least of the original, game, even though it really is kind of a different kind of look to it, and new content as well. That's what I've always thought of as a remaster, not just a higher texture pack that the PC players got to have a couple years before. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the exact same game, all the content is there. You just got to beat the game in order to unlock some of that stuff. And but you know what? It's really not bad. I mean, sure, the tank controls on Leon are a bit old, but that's just what you get. He doesn't move around like Sam Fisher or some of these more modern day 3D games, because they didn't do that back then. But yeah, definitely check it out. It usually starts at $20, and you can find it on sale quite a bit. So if you've played the other ones, try this one as well.